Hi there, I'm Matt, and today I'm going to show you how to make a whoopie sling for hammock suspension using some 7/64 Amsteel blue, and we're going to have a fixed brommel in one end, and we're going to come through with a berry. We're then going to have about an 8-inch constriction splice, and that is our adjustable loop that can feed out. Now the total length of this is going to make a 6-foot whoopie. So we're going to start off with a 12-foot piece of Amsteel. Okay, once you pull it out, that's it, it's locked fast, it isn't going anywhere. Okay, now we're going to do this today using everything you can see in front of you. 12 feet of Amsteel blue, a pair of scissors, some sellotape and a pen. I haven't got any splicing fids or splicing needles or marling spikes. Everything we're going to do is going to be done with the items everybody's got around the house. The only thing you're going to have to buy is your Amsteel. This stuff's from Red and Marine over in the USA. Very cheap, great international postage rates, and I'll pop their website up on the end of the video. Right, let's get started. I've actually already tapered this end and taped it with some sellotape. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you on the other end what I did. You'll need both ends doing. If you can see that I've marked on there 2 threads or 2 strands and then a single strand. Okay, we've missed one and done one. Now, if you use larger diameter ropes, you might want to do more for this taper. Basically, all you're doing is you're thinning out the very end of the rope, which means that when you pass it through and bury it, you get a nice tapered finish, and it's not a stop and then go into this thing, which obviously creates a weak spot in the sleeve of the rope. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our pen. We're just going to separate the fibre slightly, and we're just going to pull out one of these strands. Okay, and you can get in there with your fingers. You don't really need to use a pen for this bit. You can just get in there with your fingers and pull them out. Again, you'll see your other one and pull that one out. Okay, and the last one down here. Let's pop our pen in again, and there we go. Pulled it out. So you end up with your 3 strands. Like I say, you can do more if you wish. I wouldn't do more than 2 sets, as this is only 6-strand cord. Okay, sorry, 8-strand cord. You can get 12 strands with a thicker 5/8. Obviously, you can do more sets of strands, make it even thinner. You get your scissors, cut these off. Make sure you leave a little bit of a tail. I would say about 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres. Basically, all you're doing there is you're stopping it pulling back inside itself. This kind of defeats the object. So there you go. That was a little bit short there, but we've got our loose ends. And all we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of tape, and we're going to place that along so that it's sat with the rope at the top, and then we're literally just going to roll this up as tight as we can in the tape. Okay, and all we're doing here is giving ourselves, or making our life easier when it comes to the next part. And give it a little twist on the end, and then just trim it off with your scissors, and that gives you a nice clean end that's going to slide nicely through the inside of our rope. Now I've made a couple of marks on the rope already. Okay, this is going to be our tail that we're going to bury. Okay, and then I've drawn 2 lines there. They're about, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 inches apart. The easiest way to work it is choose the size of your fixed brommel at the end that you want it to be. That's the size I want my eye. So I'll draw 2 corresponding lines that give me that. I've then drawn a further line further down, okay, which is where my berry is going to finish. Obviously I've gone a little bit past the end because naturally this rope's going to shorten as I bury it inside. So first of all, we're going to get the second line down. So the first line we've made is here, the second line's there, and we're going to get our pen. We're going to separate the strands, and we're just going to poke this through. Okay, be careful not to separate any strands. Alright, and also ensuring that, or ensuring as best as we can, that we've got an equal number of strands on either side of the hole. Now when you pull it out, you'll have a nice hole like that, and it's very easy for us to just push out a little bit of sellotape end straight through. Make sure you haven't got any twists, because obviously if you have a twist in this, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get out if you do it the other way. Pull it through until your black line obviously goes through the other side. Now on that first black line, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to separate the strands. We're going to push our pen through. Okay, and again making sure we don't split the strands, and also that we've got an equal number either side. And we have another eye. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the other end of the rope, okay, and we're going to pass it through, and we're going to pull that all through. And as you get to the end, you'll start to see you kind of get a figure of 8, and then as you keep pulling, straighten your eye up. That is now your fixed Brommel. Now obviously it's not awfully tidy with this sagging end, so we're going to tidy this up and we're going to bury it inside. Now to do that, we're going to pull this back and we're going to come in as close as we can to this point. Now to do this, you might want to split your pen down. This is a cheap gel pen, okay, with the inner. The one I'm going to use is just a slightly different one. This is the inside of a Parker ballpoint. I'm using this because it's silver and you might actually be able to see it more when I'm doing this. So we're going to place it in as close as we can to where the Brommel we've already made. We're going to just separate the fibres a little bit, give ourselves an opening. Now we're not wanting to go through the rope, we're wanting to go inside it here. Okay, so if you might be able to see, my pen is actually inside there. And we're just going to feed that in. And then we're just going to twist it around just so we get a nice opening there, and that should be enough for us to place our piece of sellotaped end in. And all we're going to do is just push it through, and we're just going to milk it back on itself and just keep feeding it through. Now this really is where people would use a splicing fid or a splicing needle, and as you can see there is literally no need whatsoever. You've got more than enough there to just come through and just milk it back up. Now as you can see, this end is all but disappeared, so we'll just go a little bit more. We'll come out and we'll pick our point. We might want to use our pen again here just to separate the strands slightly, to give us that little bit extra guidance for the bit of sellotaped end to peek through. There it is, and we're going to pull that out. Now, get our scissors. And we're just going to put it in the end of the tape there and just make it a little drag, and then we can just, with this, you can just pull the tape off. There we've got our tapers, and if we milk this back now, making sure that it's pulled tight, milk it back, you'll see our end will disappear inside and that'll be nice and tapered. It's not a perfect drop, as it would be if we hadn't tapered the rope. It would go straight down to this thin. It's nice and tapered, it goes all the way down, and that's a perfect Brommel. Okay, so we're going to go up to the other end and grab our other side, or our other length, sorry. Now what we need to do is, I've actually put a mark there where the end of that berry is. You want to leave about 2 inches. Okay, and this next mark I've made is going to be the end of the constrictor tube. Okay, and about, I think this is about 9 inches between the two. I've made another line, and that's going to be the start of it. Okay, for 7/64, for my opinion, yours might be different. Between sort of 7 and 10 inches is more than enough. I weigh about 250 pounds, and it isn't an issue for me. I've never had anything slip. So we're going to open this up at the second line. There's the eye, the first line, and the second line. Open it up again. We're going to take our pen and we're going to place it in the same as we did before, making sure we haven't caught any split strands, and we're just going to make that hole nice and big so that again we can place our taped end inside there. Okay, and it's just going to be fed in nice and easy. And again we can milk that back and just pull it in and just gradually push it. Don't try and push this through or feed it back. If you get the end in front of it and then just feed it on, it naturally opens up. You can pinch with your fingers and then milk it back across. Now we'll keep doing this until we get to our line. Now things like this is where the advantage of a splicing needle would work, you know, but you know they're not expensive. They're probably £10–15, but let's be honest, this is about as thin as you want to go for this kind of project, and I'm having no issues whatsoever here using a bit of sellotape. Now I've got to my line where I wanted the end of my splice to be, so I'm going to put my pen in, and I'm just going to poke out my sellotaped end. I'm going to pull it out, and that is, in theory, if we milk that back across, that's the Whoopie Sling finished. Now all that's left to do now is this loose end here. We're going to tidy this up with the back splice so that it'll stop it disappearing through if you accidentally pull too hard. And that is very easy to do. Again, just pull this rope up. All we're going to do is we're going to fold it over and see roughly where we're wanting to go. And we can see here is about where my thumb and forefinger are. So at that point, we're going to take our pen again, open the fibres up, and just poke that down inside. Again, creating a little burrow. Open it up, there's your hole, bend your tape round and feed it on in. And we're just going to carry on, same as we did before, just feed it and then milk it back. Feed it and milk it back. Okay, and you want to be going, keep going until it starts to get to that point where it's starting to disappear at the other end. And when it gets to that point, you're going to stop. It should be one more for me, as we are now. Okay, we're going to stop there. We're going to open this up. Again, you might want to just use your pen tip and just open the fibres up a touch. Just makes life a little bit easier. Okay, there's my sellotaped end. I'm just going to feed that out slowly. And we're going to do the same again with a sticky tape. Get our scissors in it if we can. That's it. And we're just going to peel that tape off. That didn't come away too great. There we go. Now it's coming. There we go. And then again, we're just going to milk that back now to cover that over, and that there is your fixed back splice. And now if we were to pull the end that's in my right hand here, if we pull this through, you'll see that once that back splice comes up to the berry, it's not going through. It's going to jam, and you're not going to lose your Whoopie Sling. It's not going to pop out the other side. Obviously, that would mean you'd have to re-splice the whole thing. And that is it, absolutely finished. You've got your fixed brommel, your back splice in there, and then your constrictor. If you wanted to make these longer, remember, if you're wanting a 6-foot whoopie, you need 12 foot of cord. Again, if you wanted 7, 14 foot, and so on and so forth, until you get your adequate size. To me, 6 foot is more than adequate if you're going to attach this to some webbing. And that is it, everything done in about, what, 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. The pair of scissors, some sellotape, and a pen, or the inside of a pen, depending whichever's easier. Thank you very much.